Hello everyone, welcome back to Ben's Eternal Perspective. Is Jesus God? This is a question that all Christians answer, yes, Jesus is God. But I ask you, is he really God? Can you prove that in Scripture? What's coming across my social media feed is these videos of people saying Jesus isn't God, that he never claimed to be God. And the people that are answering and responding to these videos don't give an accurate answer and don't give an adequate answer, which leads us to believe, have we Christians been indoctrinated? Meaning, have we been told that Jesus is God without first understanding it ourselves? Well, in today's video, that's what we're going to discuss. Jesus is God, and we are going to be proving that today through Scripture. So if you are a Christian that wants an answer, that wants a good response to this question, stay tuned. And if you are a skeptic, if you are somebody who does not believe that Jesus is God, then I hope this video changes your mind. Stay tuned. Jesus being God is a foundational truth, meaning it is so fundamental, so foundational to Christianity that if he wasn't God, Christianity would indeed fall apart. So I have 5 reasons why Jesus is God, biblically. Reason number 1 is that the Old Testament prophets prophesied that Jesus was God, or prophesied that the Messiah was going to be God. I put some verses on here, but I'll highlight one in Isaiah where it says that he will be called Mighty God. Very clear. That's the first reason. The second reason is the apostles who introduced Jesus, called the Gospels, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, introduce him as Messiah. Best examples are Matthew, who calls him Emmanuel, which means God with us, and John, who says he is the Word made flesh, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. Number 3 is that the people surrounding him, the people that listened to him, understood him to be saying that he was God. In fact, if you look at this, Jesus in I believe it was John 10, asks, "For what of these do you persecute me for?" And they respond, "None of these actions, but it's because you, a mere man, claim to be God." So the audience understood him to be saying that he was God. 4th reason, the people that followed him, the apostles that followed him, that lived with him, that carried on his ministry and eventually died for him, they all said that he was God. If you look at the apostles, you'll find many situations where Jesus is God. I'll just name a few right now. Philippians 2:5, where he says he was in very nature God. And there's a lot of other verses too. I'll put those up here. You can look at them and pause the video if you'd like. So they died for this truth. Reason number 5, and that's my last reason, is that Jesus himself claimed to be God. First of all, we have Jesus Christ himself saying, "Before Abraham, I am." That's in John chapter 8. And this is so vital, so important. He himself right here is using the same words and terminology that people would use to describe God. Because God called himself, "I am that I am," to Moses in the book of Exodus. And there was no mistaking that he was saying this here. Now, you could be looking at me like I'm drawing at straws, but I'm not. Hear me out. Look at how the audience, look at how the crowd responded when Jesus said this. And you will find that I'm telling the truth. He claimed to be God. All the other I am statements also claim to be God. See, the Jews would call God Lord. They wouldn't call him by name, but they would also call him other things like the way, the truth, the life, the good shepherd. All these things that Jesus said I ams was referring to what the people of the day would call God. If you don't believe me, do some research and you'll find that I'm telling you the truth. And if that's not all, if all the I am statements is not all for you, it's really important that you understand what Jesus meant when he said he was the Son of God. Now this is where the Jehovah's Witnesses say, oh no, he's not God, he's the Son of God. So therefore, he's not equal to God, he's not the Jehovah, he's not the Yahweh, he is not God, he is the Son. Now, in Jewish culture, saying you're the son of something is saying two things. One, you are subjected to the Father. But the second reason is more important, that you are equal to the Father. Because people weren't less generation after generation. They were equal to their Father in status and stature and nature. So when he said he was the Son of God, he was saying that he was himself fully God. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. Again, don't believe me. Read the scriptures, read where Jesus says he's the Son of God, and then look at the response of the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the people around the time. And you'll find out that all of them understood Jesus to be saying that he was God. Now, there's so many more examples, so many more things that I can tell you that Jesus is God. If you just read the Bible, you'll understand that it is packed with that. And then you can't see the Bible any other way. It all points to the divinity of Jesus Christ. And it's absolutely amazing. So with that said, I'll conclude 5 reasons that Jesus is God. The Old Testament prophets prophesied that the Messiah was going to be God. Number 2, the New Testament gospel writers, the writers who wrote about Jesus, introduced him as God. Number 3, the audience, the entire audience, heard him to be saying that he was God. Number 4, the apostles, the people who followed Jesus and lived with Jesus, claimed he was God. And 5th, Jesus himself claimed to be God. With that said, hopefully that can equip you more Christians to answer this question. And hopefully, if you don't believe that Jesus is God, then you could hopefully be convinced that at least the Bible portrays Jesus to be God. With that said, God bless. Bye now.